Hey everybody, welcome back to P2P and daily mobility. Today we're working on wrist circles, kneeling loaded elbow circles or closed chain elbow circles, and shoulder figure eights. So excited to move with you. The reassess tool we're going to use today is a anterior posterior weight shift in a plank. So you could plank on a wall and then you're going to shift your weight up and down to check your extensibility or that extension in the wrist. You could go to the floor and then same thing, we're sitting up in good tall posture and I'm gonna kind of move through the ankle, push my weight forward to see how far forward I can get my shoulders over my fingernails and then rocking back off of that. So I wanna check that range of motion, see how the wrists feel. It's a little bit uncomfortable for me as I get out to that end range. And then we're going to start with 3 speeds today, going into the wrist circle first. So the wrist circle, let's start in a neutral position, make a loose fist. We're going to glide where a watch would be, is where we're leading that movement. We're going to glide the wrist in, down, and then back up and around. So the wrist joint itself is going to glide through space and go 10-second reps, so that internal count there. Go the other way. And nice, relax out of that. Let's go nice, slow, controlled again on that other side. So that wrist is moving. And then go the other way. And see if we can bring the eyes off of the joint that's moving. You can shake that out. Let's recheck, reassess that range of motion in the plank. And for me, it seems a little bit better, still a little bit uncomfortable. So we're going to keep working through those other speeds. Now we're going 4-second repetition. So with that wrist circle, let's go to a different position. Let's bring the arm out to the side, and then we're going to do 4-second circles. So that wrist is going around, hopefully in as close to a circle as you can make that. And 4 seconds each direction. A couple reps each direction, good job. And then shake that out. Other side, same thing. For a couple reps, 4-second reps here. And shake it out. Let's retest, set up in the plank. And testing that range of motion, kind of rocking back and then coming back forward, inching forward. Feels a smidge better. Again, kind of like very, very minimally noticeable improvements on the wrist circle so far, but a great exercise. So if you're doing any type of overhead pressing, push-ups, that wrist circle can be a great movement to couple with that other exercise, especially like an overhead press where we tend to compress that wrist joint a little bit. And so really good daily mobility tool to have in your arsenal. So let's go to sport speed and go ahead and go nice and quick, bringing that wrist around, shake that out, other side. Try to get all the way out to those corners or the outside edge of the circle, if you think of it that way. And shake that out. Nice. Let's go back to the plank, see what we got. Reassess, test, retest, and feeling a little bit better after that one. So with the kneeling loaded elbow circle, we are going to be in a kneeling position. I'm going to grab a pad really quick. So if you had like a pillow or cushion that you wanted to throw on the floor just to pad the knees, that's fantastic. We're going to find an elbow, do a little bit of skin stim around that elbow, and we're going to focus just on that one side, and that elbow is going to make a nice joint circle through space. We're going closed chain today, meaning we need to put some load or close the chain between the ground or whatever else we're using to create force, and then the rest of the body weight. So we're going to set up in a kneeling position. You could eventually do this in a plank or push-up for today. Let's keep it at kneeling. And I'm going to focus on this elbow going around in a circle for 10 seconds. So remember that 10-second internal tempo. Elbows coming out and around to the side. And then back in. I want to try to get some kind of rotary force through the forearm. So I am going to try to get the forearm to rotate. And that nice wrist extensions, go the other way. Scoop that elbow into the midline as far as you can. And then we're going to finish that circle. Let's do 10-second reps on the other side. Good. Try to roll through that forearm rotation so that elbow armpit is going to face in and then up and in. Let's go the other way with it. Nice. And that is a 10-second closed chain elbow circle. Let's go into the push-up position, plank position again. And definitely feeling like I can create a little bit more range of motion now. Still some discomfort in that full extension position. But we're going to do some unique things in terms of loading and strengthening both the tendons and the ligaments in that wrist joint with some of these movements. So really valuable tools to help increase resiliency, movement capacity. And let's go to a 4-second circle now with the elbow. So pick an elbow. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, couple reps, and reverse that circle. Big range of motion if you can. Good. Let's switch sides. Nice. Other way. Good. Way to breathe through these. Let's go back to our push-up, plank, and retest the wrist extension. Good. Feeling all right. I think the slower one was probably better. So make notes, mental notes, or actual physical notes as we go through these. Again, in that training journal, keep kind of a list of these were the speeds, these were the joints that I really need to focus in on that seem to improve performance. So from there, we're going sport speed with the elbow circle. Pick a direction and then go the other direction as well. Good. Let's go to the other side. Try to get that same range of motion on the quicker tempo now that you started with. So still a big range of motion. Let's retest in that plank position. Checking how the wrists are feeling. So pretty good. I think I'm increasing range of motion from where we started. Still some discomfort at end range, and that's kind of normal. We're taking a joint into a loaded position where maybe we don't have a brain map for. So if you're getting into a new range of motion, the brain is just kind of brand new with a novel stimulus, trying to become familiar with, okay, what does this loaded position actually feel like? Is it safe? And so at first, sometimes there's some discomfort. With training, that usually improves. So if you really did want to improve, getting into like an extended wrist position in some sort of body weight or calisthenic exercise there, over time, it's going to typically start to feel more comfortable. And we're increasing what's called stretch tolerance in that case. So from there, we're going to go to a shoulder figure 8. So standing up nice and tall, and we could do a horizontal, a vertical 8. We could do them off to the side. We could do them out in front of the body. A lot of options here. So for me, on the right side, I know that extensors need to get more work. So I'm going to do a figure 8 kind of back behind me here. And so I'm going to take 10 seconds to get through that figure 8 pattern, internal timing, and then switch direction. This can be fun. It's a little bit of a cognitive practice. Have you really pay attention to your movement, where your hand is, your limb is in space. And so slow speed figure 8. Let's go ahead and go to the other side. You could be doing these out in front. Let me give you an example of that. On the other side. I think I need to slow it down a little bit. Let's go 10-second rep going the other way. So if you're at the top of the 8 and we're doing a vertical 8, at the 5-second mark on these 10-second ones, you should be at that bottom of the 8 and then coming back through up to the top. Nice. Let's retest. So get into that wrist extension, shifting the shoulders forward. and feeling pretty good. So the shoulder actually seemed to help out a little bit more. Could be a go-to drill. We're going to do 4-second reps next. And then reverse it. Good. And relax. Good. So of course there's some different ways to load these. We are going to work on in the next month, the next segment, some resistance band loading. So we'll get you guys a link to the bands that we like to use. You could use really any of the closed loop jump stretch bands are going to work pretty well. For durability and comfort, there's a brand FlexFit, and we'll share the information on that if you don't have them yet. And 4-second rep, other side, nice, drawing that figure 8. See if you can reverse direction and then see if you can match up your last repetition with the next repetition. So try to make it an accurate figure 8. See if you can stay on that same path in that 8 pattern. So really bringing some attention and focus, intent into the exercise. Let's go back to your wrist extension. So see how that plank's feeling? And then rock into some increased range of motion if you got it. Good. And then you can make a quick note on that one. Our fast figure 8s, I want you to get into a little bit of a wider stance. We're going to go quick, and as the whole arm moves here, it does kind of increase demand for midline stability. So that's why sometimes at first a wider base is great, and then to challenge yourself, eventually we could come in narrower with the stance. So go ahead and go sport speed 8 and reverse. Try to make it accurate. Breathe. Whew, and relax. Good. Other side. Here we go. Reverse. Good. And then for accuracy too, if you're watching a spot on the floor, maybe you grab a pen or you point your pointer finger, you could really challenge the accuracy by trying to make that finger cross at the same points on the floor or the wall in space as you draw those figure 8s. Let's go back and recheck one more time on our wrist extension, our plank position. Good. So feeling pretty good. Hopefully you got some good result, good test, retest, and we're really working on that strength in the wrists and then the other upper body mobility drills to impact on that. Looking forward to seeing you in the next session, and I will be back with you then.